knock 'em out the box, Vic. Let's knock 'em out, Vic. Knock 'em out the box, Vic. Let's knock 'em out.
Hey, yo, what up, everybody? Doc Lesnar, Hip Hop Hopper. I'm about to bring you real in-depth, exclusive phone interview I'm about to have live right now, as you see, with a SoCal Wrestling Pod about my new single, Hip Hop Hopper. Here we go. Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Good. Just give me a second here. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to connect you to the board, and then I'll just kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking to do.
Yeah.
And so just hang on for 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Doc, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hold on.
No problem.
Yeah, all right, there you are.
Hey.
All right, can you talk for a second? I just need to get a level on you.
Yeah, no problem. Doc Lesnar here, Hip Hop Hybrid, SoCal Wrestling Pod. You need me to keep talking?
All right. Oh, yeah, I got you. Good. Okay, so I'm going to just basically talk about the song, a little bit about your musical career.
Yeah.
We'll get into the wrestling podcast, talk a little wrestling. And I don't know if you want to go here, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the racist stuff that's been going on.
Yeah, I'm open to that.
Okay. Okay, and it'll make sense once we get through why I'm asking, but I didn't want to just spring that on you and you think I'm some sort of asshole or something.
No, I appreciate that. I've been in that position before, but no, I appreciate you letting me know.
Okay, cool. All right, we're going to start here.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2. So Doc Lesnar is on the podcast this week. He is a lot of things. He's a hip hop artist. He is part of the Kwency Jones, yeah. All right, I've been working all day today, so I'm a bit tired.
I know it. I know how it is, man.
That's okay. 3, 2. Doc Lesnar is the guest this week on the podcast. He's a hip-hop artist. He is a co-host on the Kwency Jones Show, which is a wrestling podcast based here in SoCal. And I want to call him a friend. You know, we've never met, but we're like online friends.
Yeah.
So, the reason I wanted to have him on is because on New Year's Eve, he dropped a new song. It's called, I don't know if it's Triple H, H.H.H, or Hip Hop Hybrid. Doc, what is the exact title of the song?
The exact title is Triple H. I just felt like because there's such a double entendre behind it, or a double meaning, it made sense aesthetically to have it look like an acronym. But, you know, if you're a wrestling fan and you see it, whether you see the word triple or not, you're going to say Triple H, right?
Exactly. So let's get into your career.
Sure.
How long have you been doing music?
I've been going, I'm 34 now. I started when I was 7. You have had my twin brother / doppelganger / clone, stunt double, all that. And co-host, tag partner Kwency Jones Go on your show before. And we started by doing mixtapes, him and I and my cousin. And we were just really enticed in just hip hop as a whole. It just came at a time where we were just very creative people, and we didn't know what kind of canvas to throw this paint on, and it sounds funny, but artists like Crisscross were going on around that time. But I say that because there were bigger names going on, but they were the ones closer to our age range, you know what I mean? And so if they didn't come out, we probably wouldn't even think like it was possible to pursue that at age 7, 8, or 9. And I tell you, man, it's been a thing where we went from kind of, I guess, doing the mixtape thing where you kind of cover someone's beat, but you rap your own, version of it or your take on it. But we went from there to, finding original production and studio time and all that. And yeah, man, it's just kind of turned from a hobby to really just an undeniable grind. And it's just been a fun journey, man. So yeah, I mean, it's just been a thing that's been very, very constant. And I just love to do, so in a nutshell, that's kind of my story.
And with the Triple H song, was the goal to write a rap song about wrestling, or did it just kind of evolve into it?
So that's what's also kind of cool is so 7 was when I started doing music, but it was H.H.H. Survivor Series, November 22nd, man. It was 1990. Undertaker came down and debuted with Roddy Piper on commentary, and I fell in love with wrestling. And I say that because those have always been my biggest loves is hip hop and wrestling, and I've always felt very true and maintained that I feel like there's very big parallels to both genres respectively. You know, they're like storytelling is really a fundamental element both arts or art forms are built on, and of course you got these big characters and with these even bigger personalities, and it's a lot of similarities in my, from my perception growing up. And so I was always able to feel like, kind of, not to overuse a modern term by pun, you can use the pun Triple H, but a lateral move between hip hop and wrestling. But I've always been able to kind of put or just kind of coexist in both worlds, And then you grow older, you find out some of the artists you like are really big into wrestling or make wrestling references. And it's, so me being an artist and growing up wrestling fan, it was only time before I was able to do that, make the same references. So this song wasn't so much about personally making a song about wrestling as much as it was about to just the hip hop hybrid. That's my acronym for Triple H, not Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Hip hop hybrid is a persona that I've been able to create because of my presence with being on stage and and the people I've been able to be influenced by and the people I motivate in turn, like underground and mainstream alike. I'm able to work successfully and appeal to both audiences. So that's kind of where that came from. And if you want to dig deeper, sort of like how Triple H can be renowned with WrestleManias, which is mainstream, but be creative and provide things as cool and gritty as NXT, which many would say is like the underground, So there's a lot of parallels and layers in that song, but mostly it was about trying to bridge a gap between two different cultures.
About a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I remember driving, and I'm like, I do listen to hip hop. I'm not as schooled on the newer stuff as a lot of people are.
Hey, I'm catching up myself, bro. I'm catching up myself.
When I saw the song Ric Flair "Drip" show up on my radio, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Oh man, yeah.
So I mean, and you were saying with the rappers making the wrestling references. To me, I mean, that might have been the first one I think I've ever heard. Have there been others?
Yeah, there's and not to say it's a staggering amount. I think it's really based on what you listen to, what you look for, because Weezer, they have a kind of an infamous New Jack reference in one of their songs, and so it doesn't have to be hip hop per se, but I think the fact that like musicians are just as big a fan of wrestling so much that they will throw it in the lyrics, I think is pretty cool, and I think to your point though, in your question, there's a group called Flatbush Zombies, great group, from New York, very renowned with being big wrestling fans. I've taken many a photo with the New Day. They've even had a video, I believe that was called New World Order, where they had, they were filming, and I think it was Shane Strickland, or Swerve, Isaiah Scott was actually in the video. So,
cool.
Yeah, they've always kind of, same as I, been able to, not be shy, or stray away from like, just the things they love, and it's kind of funny you brought that song up because I have a song called Strong Styling and Profiling. And when I was writing that song, the reason why it's called Strong Styling was I was at the time being a sponsored artist with my brother. We were a duo called the Mega Towers. And so we used to be called the Twin Towers, but we decided, that leaves a bad taste in the mouth. Let's really embrace a wrestling fandom. Mega Towers, So just to speed the story up, there's this clothing brand called Strong Style Brands. So I was trying to, as they say, put the rocket on my back and take that to the moon. So I made this song called Strong Style in Profiling, which is, uses Ric Flair's ever so famous promo, and then I just kind of flip it. And as I was finishing that up, I decided to do a remix with a rapper who's really big on that culture or the nerdcore scene, Megaran. And that's a huge get, for those who know who he is in terms of being again, he's a guy that's in the Guinness Book of World Records. He's the only rapper that's sponsored by Capcom. He's really big in the scene in terms of underground and wrestling and hip hop. A lot of people give him a lot of heat now. He was kind of infamous last year for having the performance for Ring of Honor at the I believe the Madison Square Garden show. But he's a very legit, dope guy, very well connected in the wrestling scene. And I had that thing all ready to roll out, and then Ric Flair drip dropped. And so I and it's one of those things where I felt like cool reference, kind of wasted in my opinion, but really cool to see Ric Flair cross the line though and get in that video, because I think that opened a lot of doors culturally on both sides.
Are you familiar with Bane?
Bane, as in what? B-A-Y-N? No.
So, Bane is a hip-hop artist, and he put out a record called Bane's World.
Oh, okay.
Right now. It was wrestling related, so of course I'm going to download it. He has a couple songs here called The Phenomenal One,
oh, okay.
Paul Orndorff, Show Off, Roman Reigns, and Mark Music.
Nice.
I got it on iTunes, so I'm sure he's streaming everywhere else. But B-A-Y-N, another rapper that's, rapping about wrestling, which is definitely cool and a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I have some other stuff I want to talk to you about, but let's play the song. Let's play Triple H. You cool with that?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is Triple H from Doc Lesnar on the SoCal Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Knock 'em out the box, Vic. Let's knock 'em out, Vic.
Blue blood, I'm a better breed, so I got enemies, got a lot of enemies. Hip hop hybrid, that's perfect chemistry. Was underrated, now purely one of the greatest you will ever see. Don't ever be disrespecting my legacy. Simply put, you should check your tone and your energy. I'm that damn good. Yo, who the hell is he? The Triple H, check my pedigree. Now break it down, break it down. I'm unadulterated, degenerated, and proud. I'm unapologetic.